a lot of people, have historically always bought iPhones. They, for a long time, the upgrade was every year, right? Or every 2 years. Now it's like, I don't know. I was listening to Dan Ives talk this morning on Bloomberg, and he was saying, like, there's 300 million iPhones that are 4 years or older on these, with these customers. So this story from Dano dated from October. This would have been, I don't know, I guess the first month or so of iPhone sales. AT&T and Verizon see little interest in the new iPhone, and this dates back to when they did their quarterly earnings. All right, so let's check out the story here, and then what we could do is when we get the updated numbers in January for Q4, we could see if things actually improved. All right, so the big sell is supposed to be this new, AI-capable iPhone, and according to CEOs, AT&T and Verizon, which would be Stanky and Hans, the gadget has been selling at a slower pace than Apple's new device sold last year. So that means the iPhone 16 generation selling slower than the iPhone 15 generation. Now, the 16 has features and capabilities that the 15 doesn't have. But people are saying, to hell with it, I can't afford it, or I'm not buying it, or it's not worth the upgrade, or whatever. 3.5% of AT&T's customer base is upgraded to a new phone during the quarter. That was Q3. All right. Slightly below the 3.9% who did so last year. So you have a dip. So from 3.9 to 3.5%, same time year over year. Verizon also reported a similar trend. 3% of the customers upgraded this year in that first 3 months of the launch, compared to 3.4% last year. Now, mind you, AT&T runs some of the most aggressive year-long promotions on iPhones. Verizon has been promotionally active for about half the year, at least half the year. You would say legitimately there are 2 very aggressive quarters for Verizon. You would say maybe Q1 they're a little bit more conservative, and Q2 they're still kind of quiet or whatever. But Q3 and Q4 Verizon always goes really, really hard. So we're not seeing the upgrades. People aren't checking for the new iPhone. They're not buying the new iPhone. They're not in a rush to buy the new iPhone. So there was this whole thing about an upgrade cycle, and, it was going to be this huge thing everybody wanted. Remember Moose was here, on the live streams talking about this is going to be the biggest iPhone upgrade ever. And, talking about Verizon as in King Kong and all this other stuff. And, look, I'm not saying that Moose is completely wrong, but he was definitely wrong about this being a huge upgrade cycle for Apple. It just simply hasn't been that. Now, there's a possibility that things improve for Q4 because it's the holiday quarter. But I don't think it's going to be better than last year, and I don't think it'll be better than the year before, any of that. I think financially people are squeezed, and they're making decisions like, I might have to just wait before I do this upgrade. I might have to wait another 6 months. B, talk to me about this. Is the consumer basically saying, I have to put this upgrade on hold, I'm going to ride it out for another 6 to 12 months?
Probably. Especially if they already have a phone that's 5G enabled. They're getting at least a decent upgrade as far as performance is concerned, as C-band and mmWave and all this stuff continues to get rolled out. So I guess they don't see, many of them are kind of looking at their pockets, looking at their wallets and saying, I don't really see this as a need right now. I can wait a little while. These phones have gotten really, really good, really, really fast. They all, all the Samsung models, all the Apple models, they pretty much work really, really well nowadays. So you can keep a phone for 3 years and not have to worry about it. If you have insurance on the phone,
B, they're talking about 4 years, dog.
Yeah, you can keep it even longer than that. I mean, especially if you have insurance and things of that nature. I mean, you can do that. So, I mean, I think it's challenging for Apple more so than it is the carriers, because the carriers don't really make any money off phone upgrades anyway. That's all empty. It's not profitable at all. They make money off the service. So as long as they can appease customers and get them, to sell up the stack or to take something up the stack and deepen that relationship, the carriers are happy. It's Apple that needs to try to figure it out. And really, honestly, there's nothing to figure out. The phones are just working really well. They're kind of a product of their own success. These phones have gotten really, really good, and customers are saying, I not right now. I mean,
All right, let's play
it is
this
what it
game.
is.
Let's play this game. B, you're on the spot first. You have an iPhone 15. Do you need to upgrade to a 16?
I'm always going to say yes. In my opinion, if you're able to afford it, it's always good to have the latest and the greatest. Just because if there's any
Average
changes-
man, average person, average guy, average gal.
I don't know how to answer for average people.
Just bought a 15 Pro, whatever.
Probably not, Sneed.
Okay, 14.
People, yes.
Okay,
You
so
need-
that
you
means
need-
anything before 14 for sure.
Absolutely. Come on.
Okay. Well, I mean, everybody sees this differently because watch this. Zero cool. iPhone 15. You just bought the phone last year. Do you need to upgrade?
Nope.
14.
Only if you want AI.
13.
13, I would say so, only because I've improved more in performance.
Okay, so a 13 is where you're drawing the line. You should be upgrading.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, Maximus. You just bought a 15 last year. Should you upgrade?
Yeah. So the average person, definitely not, but I've been upgrading to the Pro every year. So last year I had a 15 Pro, this year I got a 16 Pro. But yeah, that was actually going to lead perfectly into one of my points, though, that I was going to make. Like, when the iPhone 13 was the newest phone, the iPhone 11 would have been 2 years old at the time. If anyone asked me, should I buy an iPhone 11 right now, I'd say, no. Trash. Just pay a little extra and get the 12. Because the 11 was so far behind. It had a garbage screen. It was 4G LTE only. There was no 5G option for it. It was just a much objectively worse phone and an objectively worse value for the money compared to an iPhone 12, which someone could get used for maybe 100 more, a couple hundred more. Now the 16 is the newest phone. The 13 is 3 years old. Now, if you're on a budget, if you just want an iPhone, you're a bit more cash constrained, I'd say get the 13, because the 13 is going to be 93% of the latest and greatest iPhone
Interesting.
experience.
You actually gave it a number. So here's how I look at it, right?
Right.
If I bought a 15,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at this from the average person. If I bought a 15, my battery health is probably still in the 90s.
Yeah.
The display is still a really good one.
Right. And it's even still got Apple Intelligence, because they gave the 15
Right.
Pro
Yeah, so-
Apple Intelligence.
So I'm keeping that sucker, right? I'm not
Of
even
course you
worried
are.
about an upgrade.
Right. Well, and Sneed, you know the other thing with the 16 in particular? Think of iPhones that have been really like revolutionary, right? Maybe the iPhone 10 with its all-screen display, the Face ID, the cameras, the emojis, whatever. Or maybe like the iPhone 14 Pro with that dynamic island, or going back, the iPhone 4 with the selfie camera, the unibody stainless steel and glass design. These were revolutionary iPhones, and the features caught on with people.